Anikthea Hand of Erebos is a 4/4 legendary enchantment creature demigod, costing 2, a white, a black, and a green.
Nice.
Anikthea has Menace. Your other enchantment creatures have Menace. And most importantly, whenever Anikthea enters a battlefield or attacks, exile up to one target non-aura enchantment card from your graveyard. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's a 3/3 black zombie creature in addition to its other types. Got all that? I know that's a lot, but let's break it down. She has Menace, which is important because you're going to want to attack with her. Because when she attacks, that's when she makes the tokens. And that is what we want to abuse. Her making tokens. The problem is you want to get her out and attack with her as quick as possible, but she's a 5 mana commander.
That's pretty expensive.
I know, so let's get to the ramp. So we're in green, so we have the typical Cultivate, Kodama's Reach, and Rampant Growth.
Well, yeah, duh.
We're also in 3 different colors, so we have tons of artifact ramp to choose from. Personally, I'm going to pick Arcane, Golgari, Orzhov, and Selesnya Signets with the addition of Soul Ring. Right. The Talismans also work here, but this isn't a super fast deck, so I don't want to wear it out of my life too much. But the best ramp in this deck are cards like Colony, Hard Expedition, and Omen of the Hunt.
Well, why is that?
Because you use them, send them to the graveyard, and then your commander brings them back. And if you have a token doubler like Parallel Lives or Anointed Procession out, you're bringing back multiple copies.
Enchantments in an enchantment deck? No way.
Yes way, it's good synergy. Now let's draw some cards. Card draw. Well, obviously this is an enchantment deck, so we're gonna want to run the Enchantresses. Sythis Harvest Hand, Verduran Enchantress, and Enchantress's Presence are great in this deck. They're pretty good. But Citizen Champion and Eidolon of Blossoms are amazing. You have no idea, you guys. They are so good. So good. Not only do they trigger when you cast them, but they also trigger when you bring them back from the graveyard, which is what our commander does. So we're going to draw tons of cards, but why? Well, first, we want to get so many cards in our hands that we have to discard, so that we can discard the ones that we want to cheat into play with our commander. That means no Reliquary Tower. Which brings us to our value cards. Value. We're talking Doubling Season, we're talking Parallel Lives, and Anointed Procession. So let's think about this for a second. You got Anointed Procession on the battlefield, and you bring in a Parallel Lives from the graveyard. Since those are tokens, you're getting 2 Parallel Lives, which means now you have 3 token doublers. Okay. So now you bring, Nyx Bloom Ancient in from the graveyard. That's going to give you 2, 4, 8 Nyx Bloom Ancients. All right. I see what you're doing here. That means every time you tap a land, it's tapping for 24 mana. And if you tap, Golgari Signet, it's tapping for 48.
That's almost double.
Now let's get to the MVC. Most valuable card.
Is V2 Ghazi Guildmage.
Never before has Anointed Procession, Parallel Lives, or Doubling Season been a creature token. This means for 4 mana, you can turn 1 Anointed Procession into 3 Anointed Processions. For 4 more mana, you turn 3 Anointed Processions into 11 Anointed Processions. And let's do this one more time. If you pay 4 more mana, you are now going to have 2,048 3/3 zombie creatures that say if an effect would create 1 or more tokens under your control, it creates twice that many tokens instead, in addition to the 11 original you had. We also threw in Song of the World Soul, which just for casting spells, you're doing the same effect.
This deck is crazy.
All you gotta do is successfully fill your graveyard. Nyx Weaver is really nice. Not only do you get to mill the top 2 cards of your library at your upkeep, but for 3 mana, you also get to return a card that you didn't want in your graveyard to your hands, or if you wanted to recast one of those instant sorceries. Cemetery Tampering is also really fun. That Hideaway 5 is nice because you're going to be able to get some value out of that on top of milling yourself. Overall, I think Deadbridge Chant is my favorite, though. It lets you mill 10 and fill your graveyard with lots of good stuff, but also it's an enchantment, so you can cheat it in with your commander. So there's our ramp, there's our card advantage, but how do we win with this deck? Time to win. The simple version is making thousands of anthems, like Intangible Virtue and Liliana's Mastery. But let's talk about the big boy.
Big boy.
Legion Loyalty. Creatures you control have Myriad. This is where it gets fun. Whenever a creature with Myriad attacks, its controller may create token copies of that creature for each other opponent. Then you exile those creatures at the end of combat. This means, just by attacking with your commander with, say, 1 Anointed Procession out, you're going to get 1 attack trigger and 6 ETB triggers. Oh my god. So if you have 7 valid targets in your graveyard, that means you're bringing in 14 tokens. They're 3/3 zombies that all have Myriad and whatever cool ability was already on them. Anikthea Hand of Erebos isn't as smooth or consistent as a deck like Sythis Harvest Hand, but man, is it so much more fun. Hey, if you're still here, please go ahead and like and subscribe this video. Send me a comment down below. It'll really help. Go check out Anikthea in my Moxfield. Link will be down below. And as always, embrace the chaos.